Well, welcome everybody. Thanks so much for being here. Happy Saturday. We have some very exciting announcements today and a very special guest speaker. And so I want to kick things off and get things rolling. If you've still got groups that you're talking to, or group chats or text threads, or Telegram channels or any of that, shoot them a message. Let them know we're about to get things started because we have an incredible day lined up and I don't want to waste any more time. But would love to get more people on here. Of course, we're going to be recording this, but we've got people tuned in from just about, it seems like, all 50 states. So welcome, everybody. Happy Saturday. The first thing I want to tell you is that if you have not already seen it, the web version of our incredible membership platform went live yesterday. And so it is officially live. And here is what I need from all of you for help. I need everybody to go use the web version of Bryte Lyfe for all of you that are members, and we need feedback from you. This is the beta version of our web technology. Of course, it is going to work very similar to the way the app works. We've been working on this with our travel partners and suppliers and testing it, but there's only a certain amount of testing you can do in a demo environment, and so we need your help to give us feedback. Now, in order to give us feedback, here is what is very important, and this is good just in general. If you ever have any issues or any tech requests or support requests, it's very important that when you submit them in the app, okay, and you can go in here in the app and you can go under contact support. It's in your menu on the app, okay? And so if you've got anytime you have a tech request or tech support message, you've got to screenshot it. So please help us help you. If you're going to report something or ask about something, or you're confused about something, or you need help with something, please send a screenshot, okay? And when you do a screenshot on your phone, you can also take a screenshot on your desktop or laptop or mobile device and send that in the support request. There's actually a button, and the contact button on the web also does a support request, and you can attach an image to those support requests. What we do is internally, it goes to the team that handles that type of support request. And so if you don't send a detailed message and a screenshot of what you're experiencing, it makes it almost impossible for us to diagnose or help you with your issue. So that's why there's a little plus button there to be able to add an image in your support request. And so what we're asking everybody to do is, as soon as we're done with the training today, please spend this weekend with your team and with your members going through the new web version. We've been working on this for months. This was actually in development even before we launched the app, but app was our first priority. So now this web version is live. This is going to help us in markets where they don't use apps as much as we do here in the US and in other markets. And so this is a very important tool for our membership value, especially as we grow into other countries and markets where they don't use apps as much. And so very important that it works effectively and that it's user friendly. So if you have suggestions or issues or anything that you see that needs to be dialed in or tweaked, please take a screenshot. Once you screenshot, you can edit that photo and you can circle anything so that it makes it easier for us to diagnose. So take that screenshot, circle it, mark it up, and then load it into the support request either in the app or on the web. So the contact support button now also is linked to our support ticket system. And so all of these things help make our product better for everyone. And so we are counting on you to go through the site this weekend, check it out, try it out, do searches, look at it. And if you have any feedback for us, please make a support request. We will forward it to the correct department. And like I said, we're counting on you. So very exciting update, because this is, like I said, something that we've been working on. And this has been important for some different things that we're working on to add to the membership value from a web situation and from a web solution. So very important news there. Now, in addition to that, we had a very special promotion that ended last night. We are going to give away those backstage passes to the Country Bay Music Festival, where we're going to upgrade your tickets for those of you that participated in this contest. It ended last night. And so we are going to do that drawing live on our corporate update call when we do all of our recognition tomorrow. So that's going to be incredible. So make sure you tell everybody that participated in that contest to be on the corporate update call tomorrow night. Now, here's something else. If you have not already seen this, I'm going to put this in the news later today. It's going to be live in the app this week, but we are down to the wire on this. Eva has been working around the clock, our director of member experience. And so she has pulled off another amazing partnership. So this is actually the official beginning of the partnership with Bryte Lyfe and Live Golf. I've been a big fan of Live Golf since they launched this program to compete with the PGA. Some of my favorite golfers are part of the Live Golf Tour. And obviously, we have so many people that are interested in sports and entertainment. So the championship for this season for Live Golf is next weekend in Dallas. And we have got tickets at 20% off. Now, this is a very special partnership. Next year, we're going to have, our goal is to have a special seating section for Bryte Lyfe at these tournament events next year. We're working on some really cool stuff with Live Golf. We're very excited about this. And kudos to Eva for bringing this to the table. Obviously, on top of the World Vantage partnership and everything else she's working on, you guys are going to be blown away from some of the different things that we're working on and that we're about to announce. Miami is going to be full of announcements and new partnerships. We've got some other stuff that's already been signed that's going to be going live into the app, but this was time sensitive. So we're going to actually put this into the news section today. So if you want to use this ticket link, it's going to be in the news section, but it will be in the app later this week. But we only have a week because it is next weekend. So very, very cool. And for those of you that have not already purchased your tickets and booked your room for the breakthrough event in Miami in November, this is very important. Okay, so the room block that we have is ending next Friday. So in less than 5 days, the room block is going to be ending. So you have until Friday to book your rooms at almost 50% off. You're getting them for $149 a night. And remember, when you go into the site, Marriott cannot remove the resort fee on the reservations. So you will see it as $189, but then when you check in, that resort fee is charged at check-in. But for our group booked under our block, you will not be charged that $40 per day resort fee. So instead of paying $189, which is once again a huge discount, you're only paying $149, but you will see it say $149. Here's the other thing. The calendar automatic populates the 8th through the 12th, which is an extra day. So when you go in to book your room block, I don't know why the Marriott calendar does that, but I've noticed it on a couple of bookings. People have had questions. You need to change it to the 8th through the 11th, because remember, our event is 8th, 9th, and 10th. And so just a little tip there. And remember, that link is in the news section of the back office on the web. That is the only place where you can get the room block rate, okay? And remember, it ends Friday, and you do not have to prepay. So go in there and book your rooms. You don't have to pay until you check in. So massive deal there. And remember, if you want to attend the pool party on Friday, November the 8th, you have to be a hotel guest. And if you're checking in on the 8th, they're going to allow you to get access to the pool party that day, even though your room may not be ready. So very important to get into that room block. Then the Country Bay Music Festival. This is very, very important as well. Use this as a way to get people excited about Bryte Lyfe. This ticket is 75% off, and you cannot even get one-day tickets. Remember, our tickets are one day, November 10th, $259, and that includes open bar all day. The music festival is like 12 hours long, okay? So I know some of you like to have fun and party, and so you're going to get your money's worth on the open bar for sure. And remember, they're going to be showing the Bryte Lyfe banner and logo on the screens all day during the music festival. Plus, we're going to be up on all the media. And so this is going to be an easy slam dunk way to talk to people at this event about Bryte Lyfe. So massive advantage for you there to be able to get people excited about this and sign people up while you're there. But make sure you go and get your tickets. Those will sell out. And also our training on November 9th, featuring our very special guest speaker, VIP, best-selling author, Ray Higdon, who's going to be with us in just a moment. But he's also going to be with us with an incredible training on November 9th. The early bird general admission are almost gone. There's only a few tickets left for the early bird general admission. We also still have some VIP tickets left. And so make sure you get those inside the app. And so without further ado, we are going to get into our very special training today, our very special guest speaker. And so I want to actually bring him on split screen now and tell you just a little bit about Ray's accolades. You know, Ray and I have been friends now for almost 20 years, and he is a legend in the industry. And the thing about Ray is that, you know, in this industry, there's a lot of people that, you know, you can tell when they lead what their angle is and what their objective is. And they come from a position of me, and that's, you know, it's common in sales and business with overachievers and leaders in general. But the one thing that I love about Ray is a man of the people. I mean, when you hear him speak, when you see him with, you know, as a leader, as a man, as a husband, and, you know, as also a man of God, it's important that you see that when people lead with their true intentions and their true self, and it's so giving and serving, it's such an amazing experience to be around. And so this is the thing that I loved about Ray. We worked together in my previous company, and he was one of the best speakers, the best trainers, the best leaders in the over 3 million people that I had a chance to work with. And so, you know, Ray, I could go on and on about Ray, but Ray has shared the stage with Tony Robbins, Les Brown, Robert Kiyosaki, Bob Proctor, Gary Vaynerchuk, Magic Johnson, and so many other leaders. He's also been through the John Maxwell Leadership and Mentorship Academy. Ray's podcast, Home Business Profits, has over 10 million downloads. That's wild, crazy. And his company, the Higdon Group, has been recognized as Inc. 5000 and hosts live events, virtual events where thousands of people gain knowledge from Ray and his amazing wife every year. They're incredible entrepreneurs and servant leaders. And his new book has done amazingly well. He's going to have that with him when he comes and speaks on November 9th, the faith-based network marketer. He's going to talk a little bit about that today. And so, Ray, thank you so much for being here and pouring out. You know, we know that you don't have a financial interest here in Bryte Lyfe, but we're just so grateful that you're taking time out of your weekend to be with us today and again with us in Miami. We're so excited to see you and your lovely wife when y'all come to Miami. But once again, thank you so much for being here. I'm going to turn things over to you, bud, and I'm excited to listen to you today.
Hey, thanks so much, man. I'm honored. I'm excited with what you're doing, and congratulations on everything, and congrats on being here with Wes. You know, I've admired Wes for many many years, and so it's cool to be on here. I'm honored to help out. It'll be cool.
Absolutely, absolutely, man.
Yeah,
We're so glad to have you.
yeah. Well, I did put together. I'm going to share my screen. I did put together a little dealio for you guys. Hopefully, you can see that. Let me just move this up here. Okay, you can see my screen, I
Yep.
would assume. Okay, all right, great. And so, yeah, I'm super excited to be on here. And today we're going to talk about 4 steps to hit unreasonable goals. In November, we're going to cover the 4 Ps, and that's the 4 Ps to become a top earner. For some reason, I'm liking the number 4 for some reason. And so today's 4 steps to hit unreasonable goals. November is the 4 Ps, and for those that would like to know those 4 Ps, it's pipeline, posture, position, and perspective. So we'll do a deep dive on that to help you learn what might be a hole in your business approach or in who you're being that's preventing you from becoming a top earner, and how do you fix that? And so that's going to be November 9th. That's going to be super, super cool. But today, 4 steps to hit unreasonable goals. And, Wes did such an amazing job of, his own, personal take, which I really appreciate. And also reading, some of my bio very, very quickly. I just share, before, I think this is important to know. Before I was ever a coach, I was the number one income earner of a network marketing company, wasn't the master distributor, wasn't given a deal, wasn't given a spot, none of that. I started from scratch. I went left, right, left, right, left, right, and became the number one income earner of that company. So I know what it's like to be in the field. I know what it's like to be in pretty much any space of network marketing, as I do a lot of consulting and coaching as well. Since 2018, we are very proud of them. Our Rank Makers group, we've helped our Rank Makers members bring in over 300,000 new customers, 71,000 new reps, and achieve 14,000 rank advances. I didn't want to be just a trainer and just share theory and I sure hope this works. Like I wanted to actually track, like let me track, is this actually working? And fortunately, over the last quite a few years, we've been able to see that work. And now I coach companies and leaders how to grow their team skills and profits. I do, Wes mentioned, it was very kind of him to mention, I do have a brand new book. It came out just like a month and a half ago. It's called The Faith-Driven Network Marketer. I actually, after many years of searching for something I didn't know, I finally found what I was looking for. About 21 months ago, I found God, and I share that journey in that book. I also share the journey of when we were over in Israel, and we were there on October 7th when war broke out. So we went from souvenir shops and selfies to the bomb shelter 3 times, and my wife being in fight or flight for 5 days. So it's there's some emotional stuff in this book, that's for sure. But it also teaches you 12 principles of being a faith-driven and successful network marketer. It is on Amazon if you'd like to check it out, higdongroup.com/book. All right. Now, you may want to screenshot this or whatever, however you best take notes or whatever. These are the 4 steps. And these are the 4 steps to hit unreasonable goals. And what's an unreasonable goal? An unreasonable goal is one you don't know how you'll hit. That's an unreasonable goal. And what is something that you would really like to achieve in your life, but you don't know how to do it? This is actually how to do it. And so these are the 4 steps. Some steps will be easier for you than others, depending on your personality, depending on your background, how you grew up, etc. But we're going to dive into this and help you learn these 4 steps. So number one, know what you want. And this is for those of you who've seen Alice in Wonderland. She asked the cat for directions, and he says, where you want to go? She's like, I don't know. He goes, well, anyway, we'll take you there. There's a lot of people that are in the network marketing space that haven't taken the time to really write down and really own, what are you actually doing this for? And it's, this is very important for you to do, because you're going to have tough days. You're going to have days that are filled with rejection. You're going to have days where someone makes fun of you, or the software doesn't work at the least opportune time, or whatever, right? The electricity goes off while you're signing somebody up. Like, things are going to happen. And you have to have more bullets in the chamber of why you're doing what you're doing. It's not enough just to have a great why. It's like, what are all the other areas? What do you want your family life to look like, your financial life to look like, your fitness life, possibly your experience? Like, what do you want your life to actually look like? What do you actually want? And most people, they're so busy dealing with the anxiety of life, they never actually take the time to do this, to write down what do they actually want. But that is step one. Step one is, what do you actually want? And just taking the time to do that can really help, set your navigation, set your North Star to start pursuing toward that. And very important step. Number two, do the work. It's not magic, right? Do the work, right? And what does that look like? And so I'm going to share with you a couple different examples that I like. And this is, it may not look like me, but this is a picture of me this morning. No, okay, all right, fine. I could have photoshopped the head or something. But how many of you know who Steph Curry is? I bet, being around Wes and big sports guy, most of you probably know who Steph Curry is. Did you know? I just heard this. Okay, I just heard this. I don't know how many have heard this or not, but I just heard that this guy for the last 17 years has shot has practiced, and he has to make 500 shots a day. Now, he's a basketball player, for those who don't know. So every day for 17 years, he makes himself make 500 shots. That's pretty intense, right? And so no wonder he's considered the world's greatest shooter. I mean, if you shot 500 shots a day, you would eventually get better. You would become really, really good. One of my favorite stories, there was this comic, and he was coming off the stage at a comedy show, and he ran into Jerry Seinfeld, and his hero, right? The man, Jerry Seinfeld. I mean, I think he's now worth like $400 million or something like that. So he's like the comic dream. And he says, Jerry, oh man, oh my goodness, I'm so honored. Jerry, man, do you got any tips? I'm a struggling comedian. I'm trying to make it. Man, if I could just make it, 10% of what you've done, like that would be incredible. What do you suggest? And Jerry says, yeah, I got you. I got you, baby. I got you, boo. And so he says, get yourself a big desktop calendar. And every day, I want you to put an X on the days that you wrote jokes for an hour. He's like, yeah, okay. He's taking notes, right? And just create a daisy chain that never ends. And I've been doing that for 27 years. There's a special with Jerry Seinfeld on Netflix, and the drone or whatever it is panned into Jerry, and he's sitting there, and then it pans out in Central Park to all of his journals, and his journals cover more than an acre. Those are the jokes he's written every day for an hour for 27 years. So see, we want the shortcut, right? We want to, how do I get there quick? How do I get that? What's the shortcut, baby? Like what's the hack, right? What's the biohacking way to grow a large organization? I don't know. I mean, I actually I think step four is a biohacking way, technically, but uh, going and doing the work and being consistent. And let me tell you, we won't get into this today, but maybe we can get into it in November for those that come. Um, if you do lack consistency, you don't have to admit it. You don't have to raise your hand, right? But if you lack consistency, 100% of the time it's because of a observation you made as a kid and you drew the wrong conclusion to success. 100% of the time. I've never seen it different. I've coached thousands of people. Never seen it different. Never seen it be anything but. Now, you got to do some deep work to figure that out. The other day I was coaching this lady, and she would start to do well, and then she would just fall off the wagon, right? She'd stop being consistent. She'd start to do well, and this was in her marriage, this was in her health, this was in her business. She'd start to do well, start to fall apart. Why? And just because I've been doing this for a while, guys, I'm like, how's your parents with money? And I kind of already knew this answer just from doing this for so many years. And she goes, "Oh, they weren't good. They came into this country as immigrants, worked very, very hard, never had much money, never had a great relationship, never were in great health. And so there's a part of her that when things start getting improvement and she starts doing well, she feels like she doesn't deserve it because her parents worked so hard and they never did well in any of these areas. So she'll sabotage. See, some of you struggle with you don't like attention and you don't like the limelight. I don't need the attention. I don't need the limelight. And what that means is you had siblings 100% of the time. If you struggle with the limelight, if you struggle with attention, if you struggle with seeing yourself, I don't want to be up on that stage, it's because there's an association with your siblings. And usually you were the good one that mom and dad said, why can't you be more like your sister? So you drew the conclusion as a kid that when I get attention, someone else gets hurt, and you're not a psychopath, but you've kept that program that no longer serves you. You could argue it never served you, but it definitely doesn't serve you as an adult. And so there's deep work when someone does struggle with doing the work, when someone does struggle with being consistent. It's always it's from an observation you made in the past that is false. That is false. Steve Martin. This is a very similar Jerry Seinfeld story. Some of you may have heard this one. Steve Martin talks about how, actor, for those who don't know, he talks about how he'll go to Hollywood and he'll be at a cocktail party. And, eventually at some point, the waiter, the waitress, the cocktail, waitress will come up to Steve, right? Hey, Steve, I'm a budding actor. I'm working on my acting career. You got any tips for me? You got any hot leads or anything? He's like, oh yeah, I got you. Yeah. Here, write this down. Uh, be so good they can't ignore you. And Steve says they usually are like, oh, yeah, thanks. See, no one wants to hear that. Everyone wants the hack, right? They don't want to know, how do I actually be better? Like, how do I be of more value? How do I actually get better at what I do? They want the result, right? They want the how do I have your fame, Steve? And he told them, be so good they can't ignore you. Harrison Ford was a struggling actor for 27 years before he had his breakthrough in Star Wars in 1977. 27 years. He never had a lead role. Nobody knew him. I actually have a client I just uploaded on YouTube. She was in network marketing for 17 years, had never made more money than she spent, found my social media training, implemented it, became a millionaire, has made over $5 million dollars in her company, retired her husband, and now she's pursuing, interestingly enough, with the theme here, now she's pursuing her acting career. She's on two different TV shows. At 17 years in, she had spent more money than she made. Her husband made her pinky swear that she would never do another one of these things. She broke that solemn oath, became a millionaire, retired him. He's not complaining. He's not complaining. For me, when I got serious about network marketing, because I had dabbled. I had dabbled from 2006 to 2009. I had dabbled. My main focus was real estate. When I lost everything in real estate, foreclosure, divorce, $1 million in debt. Some people come up to me and they're like, Ray, man, I'm 30,000 in debt. I'm like, oh, good for you. Such restraint. Way to go, buddy. I was $1 million in debt. So, like, homeless guy was worth $1 million more than me, just to make that very clear. Okay. And so foreclosure, divorce, depression, $1 million in debt. There were 3 steps that I did to become the number one income earner of that company I joined in July of 2009. 3 steps. Number one, I'd read a book called Go for No, and I've since co-authored, if I can find it, I don't know if I have. Oh yeah. I co-authored the book Go for No for Network Marketing. And so I read the book Go for No and I said, you know what? That makes sense to me. I'm going to go for 20 no's a day. Now, you got to put on your big boy pants, your big girl pants to go for 20 no's a day. Most people ain't going to do that. Most people are not going to do that. In fact, I only actually know of 3 people that reported back to me that got 20 no's a day every day for 6 months. All 3 became $1 million earners in their company. Now, I know that that's just a coincidence, so just forget I said that. But I went for 20 no's a day. I don't mean 20 ignores. I don't mean 20 unread messages. I don't mean 20 ghost no responses. I mean 20 actual no's. Did that face to face, did that offline, did that online, did it social media, did it, every way you can imagine. But I went for 20 no's a day. I started doing a video a day. I was one of the very first people doing network marketing on social media. Everyone told me it wouldn't work, wouldn't duplicate. And I did self-development every day. Every day. I had to do something. Now, in the beginning, it was all free. It was YouTube stuff and rereading Think and Grow Rich and things like that, because that's all I could afford. I couldn't afford anything. I didn't have money. I was broke. But I went from broke, foreclosure, $1 million in debt. 5 months in, I was at 10,000 a month. 7 months in, 40,000 a month. 10 months in, 50,000 a month. Went on to make millions. Became the number one income earner of that company. And it was doing the work. I had to do the work. Is this helpful so far? I couldn't post in the, I guess you guys can direct message. I couldn't post to everyone. I tried. Oh yeah. Oh, there it goes. Drop a one if this is helpful so far. Should I continue? Should I continue on to the other two steps? Okay. Ronnie. All right, Ronnie, we're going to have a side conversation. Marcus. Okay. All right. I see a few ones. Great. All right. Step number three. And this is going to be the hardest one for you. Guarantee you. It's going to be tough. Stop dwelling on your circumstances. This is going to be the hardest for you. I'm just telling you. I'm telling you straight up, right up front. This is going to be the toughest for you. So stop dwelling on what's wrong. It's the hardest step. So I just heard this. I know I got a lot of basketball analogies for you here, but I just heard this about Kobe, right? You know, how many respect Kobe? I mean, come on, you may or may not have liked him. I don't know, but you got to respect the guy. Mamba mentality, baby, right? Like this guy, no joke. So as a rookie, and he's the young stud in the league, just tearing it up, gets him to the playoffs. He's got the last three shots to win the game. Misses all three. See, y'all don't hear about that. You only hear about someone's highlights. You don't hear about that. So he misses all three shots. All three, lose the game. And so he's over on the bench and he's got his head in his hands, he's just like this, just kind of doing this. And the reporters are like, "Oh man, poor Kobe, man. Oh, that's got to be tough, man. Kobe over there. Oh, that's got to be tough for a young rookie. Oh, man, we're rooting for him. We really hope he pulls through. Hope he can bounce back from this." And then he gets off the bench and like, "Oh, go, Kobe, 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 Kobe. Ah, man, that's got to be tough, man. How are you feeling?" And he says, "What does feeling have to do with it?" And they're kind of surprised, like, "Well, I mean, you were over there with your head in your hands, and you missed the last three shots." He goes, "Oh, no, no, no. I was deconstructing the last three shots to figure out what I did wrong. Now I realize what I did wrong, so I won't make those mistakes again." Cold. Guy don't play. How long do we spend when we miss the shot, when we screw up a presentation, when we drop the ball on something, right? Does it ruin our hour? Does it ruin our day, our weekend, our month, our life? Some of y'all are still trying to bounce back from something that happened 30 years ago. And the person that wronged you, they don't even remember. They don't even remember they did it. They may not even remember you, but you're still trying to bounce back from it. Immediately, okay, what could I do different? How could I, where did I pivot wrong? Where would I have swiveled? Got it. He's replaying it in his mind. And this is actually a good setup for the next step when we get there. So you want to learn to speak to yourself more than you listen to yourself. Speak to yourself. Who are you? I was so honored and so grateful when Wes said, raise a man of God and amen. Right. So I speak to myself. I'm a child of God, man. And a child of God wouldn't be so distraught over this thing. The Apostle Paul got the 39 lashes 5 times, was stoned and left for dead. They went through some stuff. Got back up, shook himself off, went back in, preaching, right? And so if he can do that, maybe I can get over my, stubbing my toe. Speak to yourself more than you listen to yourself. Telling it like it is keeps it like it is. Because that's our tendency. Our tendency is just to describe our current reality to everyone around us. Well, hey, man, I'm just telling it like it is. Okay, we'll do that if you wish to keep it like it is. Now, neuroscience it's proven it, that negative thinking actually has you miss opportunities and has you miss options. Here's how it works. So when you have a thought, That's just a thought is just a neural network. And it starts in your neocortex. In the neocortex, you've got a neural network for everything: your spouse, your computer, your job, your kids, everything. You got a neural network there. And as you start to connect these neural networks together and have congruent thoughts, whatever you accept, surrender, and believe gets passed from the neocortex to the limbic brain, the chemical brain, the emotional brain. And what it does is it creates these little amino acid peptides, shoots them down the spinal cord to hit the adrenal glands to create emotions that are congruent with the thoughts that you're having. So now you're thinking, feeling, feeling, thinking, and you are this place of most often negativity. And as cells die off, they inherit the traits of the past cells. And so it actually becomes harder and harder and harder for you to be positive. But here's what else that happens. As you're thinking negatively, your vision, like the options that you see in your mind as an option, like some of you have already said, I can't make it November. Money too tight, too close to Thanksgiving or Christmas, right? And so as you keep thinking negatively, the real view that you have narrows. And so you start thinking, well, I mean, man, if I go to that event or not, it doesn't really matter, right? Whereas if you start to tame your thoughts and you start to speak to yourself more than you listen to yourself, you widen your options. All of a sudden, you'll go prospect that person that previously you have said, why bother? Why bother? That phrase right there, why bother, is what's keeping millions of dollars from you. Why bother? Why bother doing another one? Right? Why bother casting the net one more time? Why bother reaching out and following up again? They just said no. Why bother? Why bother is stealing your dream life away from you. And the bad thing is you don't even realize it because we become chemically addicted to those chemicals. As we inhibit the feeling of depression, the feeling of anxiety, the feeling of fear, the feeling of stress, our body starts to crave those chemicals. It's a chemical addiction. And it takes great energy for you to break out of that addiction. And it is an addiction. I know people are, ooh, I don't know if I want to use that word. It's an addiction. What do you want me to say? Your body starts to crave that feeling of fear, of not enoughness, of low self-worth. So if you're craving something, that's an addiction. You can change that. You can tame your language. You can tame your thoughts. It takes more effort. So for you to stop dwelling on what's wrong and dwelling on your circumstances, this is the hard stuff. This is the hard work. It really is. Helpful? All right, step 4. Step 4, mentally rehearse who you want to be. Who you want to be. Okay. So mental rehearsal, it's actually not only is it neuroscience proven, it's also biblical. Mark 11:24 says, whatever ye pray for, believe that you've received it and it'll be yours. How do you do that? Right? How do I believe that I've received something I'm praying for? How does that do? Your imagination. You actually, in your imagination, you see yourself already having that thing. You're already having it. And here's the interesting thing. Your brain doesn't know, and this is good or bad, right? This can be good, powerful, this can be terrible. Your brain doesn't know the difference of you actually doing something and you remembering something. See, too few of you are using future memories. That sounds strange, doesn't it? Future memories, right? Yeah, future memories. Future memories of you recalling when your team crossed the stage in this company in November. Future memories of what it was like accepting the award from Wes on stage in November. Future memory. Your brain doesn't know the difference. Your brain doesn't know the difference of you having your heart broken when it happened, or you remembering having your heart broken every single day for 10 years. So the person that is constantly reliving the past, it's not that you're just living in a memory. You're literally, that is happening to your psyche every single day. Man, that's a big deal. So you're already mentally rehearsing. You're mentally rehearsing the loss or the win. Too few people play to win. Way more people play to prove the loss. They're playing to prove they're going to lose. Now, I've found that for this sort of thing, I have to use examples. But I wanted to come up with some examples that that were fun that you can identify with. If I walk you through an example of making an additional $1 million, you'll be like, yeah, easy for him to say. Yeah, that'd be nice. So I found I had to find examples that were a little different, a little different. And I think you'll appreciate them. Before we get there, just a recap. So I want you to get this. Which of these are you not doing? Do you know what you want? Are you doing the work? Are you telling anyone and everyone, including yourself, all the bad things in your life? Okay. Are you doing powerful mental rehearsal? So let me share my fun examples. Okay. So I want you just to play along with me here. Pick two scenarios, two times in your life. One time you wanted to make a change, but it didn't work. It didn't happen. Could be financial, could be personal, could be whatever, right? Wanted to lose weight, want to get in great shape, whatever, right? Pick a scenario. I wanted this thing, it didn't work. But then there are times in your life where you've gone after something and you made it work, man. Awesome. I want you to pick the two scenarios. Okay. You got it. You don't have to share it with me, but just for your own knowledge. Okay. Because this will help you as I walk through. All right. So I'm going to share two of mine. It'll help you out. So the one that didn't work. And so I was online. This was several years ago. And I saw something that kind of got my interest. I saw this 14-day course on how to be great at hip hop dance. Now, I don't know about you, but man, when I see someone who's good at hip hop dance, right? Who's it? Chris Brown, like you know what I'm saying? Like I'm just like, man, that's awesome. Man, that's cool. I wish I could do that. And so I see this 14-day course. It's $27, and I'm like, you know what? I'm going to buy this course, and I'm going to study it secretly. And one day, my wife and I are going to be at the club and I'm just going to bust it out. I'm just going to go bananas. And she's going to be like, what? There'll be a circle form around me and I'll just be killing it, man. And so I have this. So I know what I want, right? I know what I want. So I buy the course. Now I got to do the work. And so I go through day one. Eh, not too bad. I make sure my office door, I don't want anyone to know. I don't want anyone to see me during the struggle. I just want them to see the end result. Anyone with me? Anyone feel that way too? You don't want people to see you while you're making the climb. You want them when you show up. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, right. You got a big old necklace on or something, right? And so I don't want anyone to see me like just white boy screwing it up, right? I want to I close my office door, make sure no one's out there. I hit play. So I watched day one. And so I watched day one, and it's not that bad. No, it's not that bad. I got this, right? I watched day two. Ooh, that's a little tough. And so I rewatch it. I rewatch it. Okay, I think I got it. All right. So day two took me a little longer. Got it. I got day one, day two in the bag. In the bag. Day three, I don't know how the hell he's doing that. I'm looking. I'm looking at it like how I'm like, I don't even know how is he moving that way? I'm on day three. Okay. Day four, I rewatched day three. Day five, I rewatched day three. I can't get it. I take day 6 off, day 7, day 8. I don't even try it. I watch a little bit of day 3, forget it. And thus goes my dreams of being a hip hop dancer. Gone, gone like the wind. Toast. Ray does not become a great hip hop dancer. So that's the one that didn't work. All right. Well, what's the one that did? Well, it was our 10-year anniversary. This was 3 years ago. And I wanted to do something special. I wanted to do, something, like, because we've traveled the world, right? Like a lot of you on here, we've traveled the world. We've been all over. I've spoiled her in every way I can think of. She was with me when I was broke. We started dating when I was in foreclosure. So she was more my sugar mama than a gold digger. All right. And, because she was paying my utility bills when I was still trying to figure things out. So I'm very grateful for her. I always just want to shower her and do cool stuff for her. And so I was in this strip mall and I saw this sign and it said ballroom dance lessons. I think it was like 3 lessons for $100 or something like that. I'm like, that's unique. I've never done that. And so I get my little package, and so we a happy anniversary. I got us ballroom dance lessons. We're going tonight. Yay. Oh, she was excited, right? I did good. So we go there, and like anything she's ever tried in her entire life, she was amazing. Right. She'd never ballroom danced before, but she's like spinning into the air, and people are ooh, ah, like people are just marveling at how good she is. Me, horrible. I'm stomping around like Frankenstein. They asked me, they're like, Ray, do you hear the rhythm? It goes doom da 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 doom. It's kind of like it's like a downbeat, and I'm like, right? I'm just terrible. I'm terrible. And I've been at this for a while, man. Like I am, I knew how much she loved it. I hated it, but I knew how much she loved it, so I kept going. So I'm 4 months in. I'm going to 2 classes a week every week, despite everything in me. I don't want to go. 4 months in, okay. Two things that happened. One, the lady asked me, she goes, Ray, were you in an accident? And I'm like, they think I have brain damage. What the heck? Why am I paying money for to be treated this way? She's like, no, 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 your hips. Do your hips, were you ever in an accident, like where you hit from the side or something? Like your hips, do your hips move independently? And I'm like, yeah. And I moved my entire leg because I don't know what she's talking about. This is how bad I was. Okay. Can anyone relate or just me? And so then another thing happened. So again, 4 months in, 2 classes a week. I'm going every single week, twice a week, trying to get better. My wife is just amazing. So she'll dance with me, and it's this big, awkward, troll-like Frankenstein thing. And then she'll dance with the trainer, and they're just like, wee, wee, roses appear, doves, right? It's just amazing. People are crying watching them dance. There's a guy that was brand new to dance. He's lacing up his shoes. He came in early and he saw me and my wife dancing. And as soon as we finish our lesson, he rushes over to me with glee and he says, man, am I glad I came in early. I feel so much better about myself. Okay, in case you can't translate that, and he says it in front of my wife, by the way, in case you can't translate what I'm throwing down here, he's saying, you really suck. I thought I sucked, but wow, you really suck. That's what he was saying, just so we're clear. Walt Disney said, sometimes a kick in the teeth is exactly what you need. I actually needed that. That night I went home and I realized something. I realized that I've learned all of these things. I went through a 9-year period where I invested at least $100,000 a year in my education, worked with the best of the best of the best. I gave a check to Grant Cardone 6 hours for $100,000. I've worked with some of the very best in the world. And I've learned all this mindset stuff, and I'm not using any of it. None. I'm not using a lick of it. I'm just showing up. I'm not good at dance. I'm not very good. See, some of you are showing up in network marketing saying that. I'm not very good at closing. I'm not a good prospector. I'm not good at video, right? You're doing the same mistake I was doing. That night, I decided this is going to change. So I did two things. Okay. Number one, well, first of all, I did not increase my practice. I did not go from 2 lessons a week to 3, didn't change it. I did two things. Number one, I stopped complaining about how bad I was. I stopped dwelling on what was wrong. I stopped focusing on my missteps, stopped focusing on what I didn't have. Okay. And number two, mental rehearsal. So every night before bed, I would spend 2 minutes, literally 2 minutes. I mean, I didn't time it, but roughly 2 minutes. So I would spend 2 minutes just in my mind, seeing myself as a good dancer, seeing myself glide across the stage, Fred Astaire style, right? Just right. I saw myself as a good dancer. And I asked myself how to feel to be a good dancer. Man, I feel cool, man. How would I know it's true? Well, people would say stuff to me. What would they say? What would they say to me? If I were a good dancer, what would people say? See, what is Wes going to say to you and when you get the big award? Have you even practiced it? Do you even have any idea the kind of shout out he'll give you on social media? See, you haven't even seen it. You wonder why things don't happen. You haven't even seen it. You haven't taken the time to rehearse it. And so I asked myself, what would it feel like? What would that look like? How would I know it's true? And I saw people coming up to me, man, you're a really good dancer. How long have you been at this? In my head, this is all in my imagination. I go back the next week and I catch myself. Every time I go to beat myself up because I screwed up a dance, I'm like, no, no, no. How do I do it? How do I do it? And I actually heard a similar story about Tony Robbins. So I know a guy that was helping him with his golf game, right? And when he first started, it's kind of, I mean, just think about Tony on the golf course, right? He's so big, like it might seem awkward, right? And so he was sucking. He was not good. And he was like, why do I keep messing this up? Why do I keep doing this? Why? And then he said, whoa, whoa, whoa. How do I get this ball in that hole? What do you want? He stopped beating himself up, got better instantly. So I start doing this mental rehearsal. I don't add to my steps. I don't add to my practice. Start doing mental rehearsal. 6 months later, we come in first place at an international dance competition in Miami in our division. Two different dances in our division at an international competition in Miami. And my trainer said to me, she said, you really weren't getting any better. But one day, everything just changed. Like you just all of a sudden just got so much better so fast. And we figured it out. That was the day you finally took our advice and you started practicing at home. Not really. I just did two things different. I stopped beating myself up. I stopped dwelling on my circumstances and mental rehearsal. I started just mentally rehearsing, who do I want to be? What would that look like? How would it feel? How would I know it's true? Now, I still knew what I wanted. I wanted to be good, right? I wanted to get good at dance. I did the work. I still showed up to those two practices. I didn't do mental rehearsal instead of the two practices. I didn't mentally rehearse and not prospect and not follow up and not do presentations. So here's the big question. The story isn't to impress you about my dance, okay? What was different? One, I tried to do on my own. I tried to do in secret. I didn't want anyone to see me struggle. I didn't have a coach or a trainer. I stayed in my little home, my little office, and just practiced it in my little deal by myself. Wasn't having fellowship, wasn't around anybody. See, some of you are trying to do that in an area of your life. You're trying to grow in your faith. You're trying to grow in your family, your finances, your fitness, whatever. You're trying to grow in some kind of area. You're doing it all on your own, this little island of yours. That ain't the way. I was consistent. I did this over a period of, it was 10 months, I think. I think 10 months I went from I'm absolutely totally clueless about ballroom dancing and I completely suck in every single category to first place in our division in two different dances at an international competition, hundreds and hundreds of people competing. And I don't believe there was anyone else that had competed or that had uh, started dance as soon as we had that won anything. We were like, people were like, how long you been? See, I saw this in my imagination that people would come up to me and say, how long you been dancing? Wow, man, great job. I literally had people say that to me verbatim. So what was different between hip hop dance failure Ray, ballroom dance success Ray? Because you understanding that difference is what's going to change you. Are you going to be consistent? Are you going to stop dwelling on your circumstances? Are you going to know what you want? Are you going to push past the tough days? Are you going to do it publicly? Or are you so worried about looking bad that you won't prospect anybody? See, some people are more when someone has something they believe in and they don't prospect, it means they value more how they look than possibly helping anybody. That's not the way. That's not the way. Now, as far as digging deeper into what to do and how to do it, the work part, that's going to come down to pipeline, posture, position, perspective. And those are the four things that we're going to cover in November. And so I'm super excited for it. November's going to be amazing. Can't wait to hang with you. And it's going to be and it's not going to be somewhere cold, right? It's going to be nice and warm, right? But not too warm, right? Not too warm, right? So September, too warm. Okay. I walked to the gym. I'm like, oh, geez, right? November, nice. November, Florida, fantastic. You want to be here. And so I'm excited. Be bold, courageous. God bless you. And I'm happy, Wes. I'll roll it over to you if you would like me to take
Yeah.
questions or whatever. I'm happy to.
Well, absolutely. I mean, there may be some questions that I was over here laughing, thinking about you doing your hip hop dance.
Yeah, it wasn't good.
Um, yeah. I was like, you know what? I've had this like thought in the back of my head. It's like, man, it'd be really cool because I consider myself a good dancer, but nobody's ever seen it. So like it's in your head, right? So anyways, that's I had quite a few visuals of that. So thank you for that. Um so yeah, so what we'll do really quick is thanks Ray again for all of your amazing content. And if there are some questions or clarification, I did see a couple hands come up during the session, but if somebody had something specific for Ray or points of clarification, such great content, man, and I'm super excited about November. But if you do have a question before we hop off, I am watching the chat. And also, just to let everybody know that we have actually extended the reactivation campaign for the upgrade status to membership for our original influencers and anybody who has gone inactive. That was supposed to end last night at midnight. I just got confirmed from the tech team that they have extended the window. So that is going to close on Monday. So anybody that is not current on their subscription can reactivate and get their original join date for their bucket list trip. And so we are never going to do this again, I promise you, because there could be somebody who's been inactive for a couple months, and so it's going to save them a few months on their membership. And so everybody can log into their account right now, no matter when they joined, when they signed up, and reactivate, and they will get their original join date for their bucket list trip. And so that is good until Monday night at midnight. And I'm not seeing any questions, man. I think you killed it. We're excited to see you in November. Jessica, and we're gonna have a great weekend, dude. We've got the pool party on Friday. It's the
That's
hot
awesome.
party in South Beach. And then we also have the Country Bay Music Festival on Sunday. So we have you guys coming with us to both of those events. And so we're going to have a blast. And maybe we can see some of your dancing skills at the Country Bay Music Festival. We've got the whole VIP section, man. So we're going to be like right next to the stage. And we have some backstage passes. So some of our members have already had their tickets upgraded to backstage. So maybe you and Jessica can do a little backstage tour and show off some of your dance skills. I mean, it might be good enough to get you on stage. Who knows? I've got some
Oh
connections.
man,
So
I'm gonna have to get a country western
yeah,
e-course real quick.
you should do the $27 country course and see what you can get done before November.
That's
Awesome, man. Well,
awesome.
thank you so much. Thanks
Yes.
everybody for being here. We'll be posting this literally as soon as the video's done rendering. So get it to your teams. And we'll see you guys tomorrow night on the corporate update call, 7 p.m. Central, 8 p.m. Eastern, brightlifenews.com. Followed up by the next live Zoom for your prospects. The Sundays have been huge. Remember, we've got the expanded Zoom room now, so we'll have over 100 people, well over 100 for the prospecting Zoom tomorrow night. ZoomVIProom.com. And if anybody has additional questions, just shoot me a direct message afterwards or open a support request in the app, and we'll get you taken care of. Thanks so much, Ray. Everybody have a great
Absolutely.
weekend. God bless, and we'll see you guys tomorrow night.
Bye, guys.